Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Sonic the Hedgehog Part 1. This is a game that is an iconic classic. He plays a blue hedgehog, can run really fast, he can smash robots, smash TVs, and pick up rings. This game was an iconic classic back in its day, but it's been lost to the sands of time. It's kind of long forgotten now. So of course I'm going to be playing it, because I love playing obscure, forgotten games. This game is on the Sega Genesis, and it came out in 1991. This game really well demonstrates what the Sega Genesis is capable of. It's a 2D game, it runs really fast, it runs really smoothly, and it does, the Genesis is best at doing 2D platformer games. The Genesis was best at that, and should have stuck with stuff like that. This game is pretty much about a mad scientist named Dr. Robotnik that has a robot army, imprisons all the animals of Sonic's world, and encases them in robots, so Sonic has to go and destroy them and save his world from Dr. Robotnik. It's a very simplistic story, but again, a lot of video games back in these days had simple stories. That's what video games did best at. They weren't made for stories, they're made to have, fun gameplay, which is exactly what this game delivers. It delivers an awesome experience, an awesome interactive experience. So we had more than 50 rings and we finished that level. So now we could go to the bonus stage. Bonus stages are how you earn Chaos Emeralds. Chaos Emeralds are these weird stones, these weird gem things. They somehow power Dr. Robotnik's army or something like that. If you want a really good ending in this game, you collect all 6 of them. There's only 6 in the entire game. You get them from these bonus stages. We have to play these really abysmal things. I don't really like these bonus stages that much, to be honest. I mean, sure, they're fun, but they can be very, they're very psychedelic looking. Looks like something out of some strange man's dream. Some weird, dream you'd have after, I don't know, maybe drinking too much Dr. Pepper before bed or something like that. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe it's kind of you have if you eat too much raw seafood before bed. I don't know, but again, a lot of people in Japan eat raw seafood all the time. That's where this game came from. So Chaos Emeralds, I don't know why they're called Chaos Emeralds, because they're not all green, they're different colors. We should call them things like Chaos Sapphire, Chaos Crimson, Chaos Topaz. I think that makes more sense. This Green Hill Zone has my favorite music in the entire game. It's really iconic. It's really awesome. It sounds this really well. People say that Genesis wasn't really good at handling music or doing music well. This game proves that to be wrong. This game proves that Genesis was just as good as other systems at doing music in video games. The sound is really good too. The sound design is really good in this game overall. I used to play this game way back in the day when I had an emulator on my HP Pavilion from 1999. Before anyone really knew what emulators were, I had an emulator, Genesis emulator. I remember playing this game on it. And 10 years later, I was reintroduced to this game in 2009, in March of 2009, when I went to a GameStop store and I found the Sonic Mega Collection Plus for the PS2 there. And this game with all the other Genesis Sonic games is on that collection, so I bought it for $5. Best $5 I ever spent. And that was back in 2009 when $5 was worth a little bit more than it is now today, I guess you could say that. But still, it was a really great acquisition. And since then, I later got an actual cartridge of Sonic on the Genesis, because cartridges on the Genesis are still the best way to play the Genesis games. So I later got that, and I got other things too, like on the PS3, and this game pretty much came out on pretty much every system, or this game is now available on pretty much every system ever made known to man. So it's really easy to acquire this game. It is a really fun game. I really took a lot of hours out of my day just playing this game. At least it's nothing compared to the guy that made Bubsy Bobcat. Apparently he would spend 14 hours every day playing this game. He was obsessed with this game. This game was a basis of obsession for a lot of people. It caused a lot of people to, form obsessions with Sonic. It really allowed a franchise to spawn. Sonic had a lot of stuff too. You had a TV show, you had comic books, and this was, where it all came from. It all happened because of this game, this Sonic the Hedgehog game. So I guess we owe a lot to this game. Then it is a game that deserves to be remembered in video game history. This game deserves to be remembered among the likes of Pac-Man and Mario and Space Invaders and stuff like that. This is definitely one of the best games on the Sega Genesis. I think out of all the Sonic games I've ever played, there's tons of Sonic games. I think this one is probably my second favorite one. Yeah, it's probably my second favorite Sonic game ever. I think the Sonic 2 is a little bit better because, Sonic 2, because game sequels are usually better than their originals. They usually make improvements and stuff to make them better. So we got the second Chaos Emerald. We already have 2 of the 6 Chaos Emeralds already. Already a third of the Chaos Emeralds. It's not possible to get any Chaos Emeralds in the third act. Because the third act, we're not allowed to go to bonus stages in the third act. We're only allowed to fight a boss. That's right, there's going to be a boss at the end of this. We're going to finally come across Dr. Robotnik, the main villain of this game, and finally dish out some justice against him. But of course, he's going to be coming back in at the end of every zone in this game. This game has, I forget how many zones there were in this game and all, but there's a lot. This is the first zone, obviously, the Green Hill Zone, a common classic favorite. It's an iconic checker design and green grass. There actually was a Green Hill Zone nearby me, actually, in real life. There's actually a place called the Green Hill. Always makes me think of Sonic when I walk around there. And this game actually does play well too with the Genesis control. The Genesis had like a weird D-pad, like a weird circular D-pad. It works well for games like this. It also works well because a lot of the time in this game you have to like run fast and press the down arrow key, and then Sonic will roll into a ball, or you can smash stuff by rolling into balls, or destroying stuff by rolling into a ball. Here's Dr. Robotnik, the main villain in this game. I think the real main villains of Sonic should be the fans. You have the crazy, deranged fans that are willing to go to extremes to protect Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, people used to think I was a freak. If I was a freak in middle school for liking Sonic the Hedgehog, I think you like Sonic the Hedgehog, you must be some sort of freak. No one knew who Sonic the Hedgehog was back in those days, and they always thought I was a weird freak, simply because I'd rather play this than Call of Duty. I don't even like Call of Duty games that much, and people want me to write a whole epic essay on why I'd rather play this. Yeah, I could write that essay, but what's the point of that? So, yeah, I would never write an essay. I was told I suck at writing essays. Chris Chan sucked at writing essays too, and he loved this game. This is probably like his favorite game ever. He would play this all the time. It was the main subject of his obsession. It's part of the reason why we know Chris Chan as he is today. I'm starting to think that people back in the day may have known about Chris Chan, and maybe they thought they were concerned with me liking Sonic so much. They would have psychologists visit my school all the time, and they would give me like mental evaluations to see if I'm worthy of being a student, pretty much, or worthy of getting a mainstream education, because I like Sonic the Hedgehog. Maybe that's why I often blame Chris Chan for stuff like that. And maybe that was the case. Maybe they knew about Chris Chan. They knew how much of a freak he became. A lot of it happened because he played Sonic the Hedgehog. Imagine if he was never introduced to this game as a kid and how much different he would be. I used to associate Sonic with being, like a fun franchise for everyone can enjoy. But now, thanks to the internet, I associate it with now with locals like Chris Chan. But I'll try not to let him ruin this game, for this is an awesome game that deserves to be played and enjoyed, just like any other awesome game. You shouldn't let toxic people ruin your enjoyment of games, right? So now, we have been going on so much, but I forgot to mention, we're in the Marble Zone now. This is actually a pretty cool zone, actually. The music is pretty intimidating. There isn't really much like speed running or stuff like that like we did in the previous zone. Instead, we have a lot of platforming to do. This is a platform game, so of course there's going to be platforming in the game where you jump on those platform things. Of course, it's a platform game. Got a lot of free rings in here, and look at that, there's a 1-up, and we already have 7 lives, and then there's that huge stream, that huge river of cheese pizza below us. It's just flowing through, and it occasionally spits out some cheese pizza, that'll make a ride on those square things. I think that's in the next act, actually. There's 3 acts per each zone. Each zone has 3 acts. This is still the first act. It's going to be, usually the easiest one. Usually the first act, it's usually the easiest act, and they get progressively harder as they go by. So now we had more than 50 rings, so at the end, also we're able to go to the bonus stage. So now we can, do the bonus stage, go through here. Let's go here and have another one of these abysmal psychedelic challenges. The music in these bonus stages reminds me of a piece of music from the original Shrek movie. The part where Shrek is like eating the evening meal in his swamp. And then a bunch of fairy tales suddenly show up, and that's when he found out that Lord Farquaad dumped a lot of fairy tale creatures into his world. And this music strangely makes me think of that. There's also a piece of music in the PlayStation developer's demo disc that reminded me of this too. They most likely got inspiration from this, because this came out years before the original PlayStation. A lot of PlayStation games probably took inspiration from stuff like this. Like Jumping Flash is a game I've played all the time on the PS1, and it definitely took a lot of inspiration from this. The game that has somewhat of a fast pace. There's a lot of enemies that are similar to the enemies of this game. Bosses are kind of similar too. It does have a lot of similarities to Sonic the Hedgehog, Jumping Flash. Like Sonic the Hedgehog if it were a first-person shooter. Almost like Sonic mixed with Doom or Wolfenstein 3D. So we already got 3 Chaos Emeralds now. That's the 3rd Chaos Emerald. Now that we have 50% of them. Now, and we want to continue. If you collect 50 rings or more at the bonus stage, if you earn a continue, you don't have any continues in this game right off the bat. So if you die and run out of all your lives, it's game over. But if you gotta earn continues, you can let you continue the game. This game doesn't come with continues. Kind of like the original Super Mario Bros. The original Super Mario Bros. Didn't have any continues either. But then again, there was a way to cheat that. You could, if you hold down the A button on the game while pressing start or something like that about the title screen, it'd take you back to the world you're at. Or was it the B button? I don't remember. Was it A or B? I don't know. There's only 2 buttons on a controller anyway, so you have a 50-50 chance of getting it right or getting it wrong. There's supposedly ways to like cheat this game too, so you go to like level select screen or something like that. I was never able to pull that off. And like I said, this game isn't very long, and it's in difficulty-wise, this is actually one of the easier Sonic games. That's saying a lot, because this game actually is quite challenging, actually. This probably is, I think Sonic 2 is slightly easier, though, but that's because they made a lot of improvements in Sonic 2. Here's what I was talking about earlier, we have to ride these platform things over that large lake of cheese pizza below us. It's not shooting anything up at us, that's good. Just run and slide and kill off all those caterpillar things. Almost like that slide that Mega Man's done since Mega Man 3. Only with Sonic you can actually use it to destroy enemies, because Sonic has, a lot of spikes on his back. This is actually one of the games that got me interested in Let's Playing. I first discovered this game, well, actually after I discovered this game, but I discovered do Let's Plays because of this game. One of the first Let's Plays I ever watched on YouTube was Sir Ron Lionheart doing a Let's Play of this game back in like 2007. I saw that video back in 2009, and it actually really encouraged me to get into YouTube Let's Playing. I always envisioned myself as going through all the Sonic games and then playing for all of them on YouTube and having fans all over the world watch and see how I could play for all the Sonic games, and I would put interesting commentary over them. That was like 14 years ago. And now I'm finally doing it. I finally get to play the game that got me into Let's Playing, Sonic the Hedgehog. It's starting to become a mystery now as to why I never did any Let's Plays of this game a long time ago. Well, then again, I wasn't always a Let's Player. I didn't start doing Let's Plays until like 2019, I think. I started like 2019 or 2020, I think is when I became an active Let's Player. Before that, I just made videos I just made simple videos of like games. Like I think I did do a video of this game a long time ago, but it was just a simple like gameplay video. It wasn't a full Let's Play or anything like that. But now here I am finally doing a Let's Play. I have been officially a YouTube Let's Player for a long time now, and just as I became a Let's Player, Let's Plays aren't really that much of a thing anymore. I mean, some people still make game videos a lot of the time. A lot of people don't call it Let's Playing anymore. I still like to call it Let's Playing for the sake of it. Maybe I long for the old days of good old YouTube, when you could rate videos on a scale of 1 to 5 stars, when there's a gold subscribe button you could click on that was all bright and shiny and gold. Nowadays, YouTube is very bland. And again, just about everything is very bland these days. A lot of logos now are overly simplified. Well, the Windows 10 looks very bland. It's a very bland and uninspired interface, which compared to Windows XP looked a lot more imaginative and a lot more creative than Windows 10. That's why I liked Windows XP a lot more than Windows 10, and I would still use Windows XP to this day if it was still currently supported, but it's not, so that's why I use Windows 10. I don't trust Windows 11 yet. Windows 11 is still not trustworthy, which is why when Windows 10 gets discontinued in a little under 2 years from now, people think it's going to spawn a new, a new tsunami of Linux users. People will finally be realizing that Linux is better. They'll switch to Linux. I would use Linux too if it supported more stuff. If it was more mainstream and supported all the same stuff you could get on Windows, I probably would use Linux for that reason. Then again, I don't want to risk deleting anything on my hard drive. I'm not even sure if this computer could, it's probably not going to last much longer. I don't know. But I thought you were kind of concerned about this computer. A few weeks ago, I tried playing Mega Man X2 on it on RetroArch with a keyboard. I still play with using a keyboard because it's all I have at the moment. And the game would constantly pause while I was trying to play the game, and it was constantly like malfunction while playing the game, caused undesirable commands, and eventually caused my computer to go black. And it made a sparking noise as well too. So yeah, I hope my computer's, I'm using it right now, it's working fine, but I'm not doing any more intensive Let's Plays using RetroArch for the foreseeable future. There, we got 4 Chaos Emeralds now. So we already have 2/3 of all the Chaos Emeralds in this game. It's just the first part of the game. I'm not even 15 minutes into the game and already got a lot of it completed. Man, this game is really short. It really goes by really fast. This is Ray Phoenix, signing out.